Hello everybody and welcome, and this is the Midnight McBride Show, episode number 3. Tonight I'm joined by Mandy Worsley.
Hi there.
And Becky Jones.
Hello.
Hi. So, Mandy and Becky have called this show Healthier Together. And that's because when I'm doing this show, I've been pairing people and I thought it'd be hard work, but it's actually been very easy. It's just fallen together naturally. And I paired you two because you both help people to have healthier lives through nutrition and through practices on your retreat, whether it's a gong bath, meditation, yoga, etc. But then what I found is you're actually doing a project together, which we're going to talk about a bit later. It's quite exciting, a new project. So, Mandy, the Chettam Farm Retreat.
Yes.
This is your main. I say main because I've got 3 sides of A4 paper with the list of all your things you do, which includes fertility advice, an author running the Chettam Farm Retreat, Calm on the Farm, fostering. The list is huge.
Yes.
So maybe start with the Chettam Farm Retreat.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
That's going really well. We've been kind of up and running for probably about 18 months now, which is amazing. And we've got some really regular things happening on a weekly basis. As you mentioned, we have regular yoga classes now. We're just going to be from next month running 5 classes a week, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously bringing local people together. We've got yoga. We've also got a lady who runs a gorgeous class on a Monday for babies where we do massage, we do baby sensory, things like that.
Which lady's that?
That's Emmy King.
She's
from Empathy Holistics, another lady in our local area who does loads of different things, but from my venue she runs baby massage and sensory classes, which again are amazing. We've got a real mix of mums coming together, and we use that as they come to the class, but we kind of call it chill and chat at the end, so they're not having to rush off. They're not in a lot of these kind of groups are run maybe in busy play centres or community centres, which can be quite overwhelming for a lot of new mums. Or we have quite a few mums with children that may have additional needs, and I think they find our venue calming and relaxing. So we're kind of attracted.
I was going to say the name Calm on the Farm is very apt.
So people are being given a bit of a different choice. They're still being able to interact with their babies, have the massage, have the sensory, but in a more relaxed environment. And that seems to be really popular.
The reason I know you both, Becky, as well, is because you've obviously been to, when I was originally teaching meditation, you've been to the meditation classes.
Yes.
But I've also done retreats, workshops at the Chettam Farm Retreat, and I've also done a talk with Elements of Nutrition, Becky, as well. So maybe tell us a little bit about Elements of Nutrition.
So that's a business I founded in 2017 after dreaming of helping other women who had been in the same situation I was, in a state of poor mental and physical and emotional health, to get to be as fabulous and feel as fabulous as they deserve to by putting themselves first, because so many women just don't feel like they have that as an option. And so I do that with them on a one-to-one basis, by discussing their nutrition, their habits, their mindset, and things like relaxation practices to get them back into their best health.
See, you are actually both what this show is all about. Everything I do, everything I've done, whether it's meditation, writing, talking, doing this show, the radio, anything, it's all about showing people that you're not stuck in that place. You can make choices to change, you can improve, it's not too late, and that anybody can do it. But you've got to have that self-belief. You've got to know that you have a choice. Some people think, well, it's too late, this is my lot, and they give up hope. And you've both been in difficult situations and turned your life around. And Mandy, you with the farm, because, you had to borrow money in it was a gamble, and also with your health.
Yes, definitely.
And the same with Becky. I'd seen pictures of both of you. And Mandy, I saw a picture of you because you used to be a lot heavier, which you talk about.
Oh, gosh, definitely.
And Becky with the 10 years... it's like a thing they do on Facebook.
Yeah, 10 years younger or something.
Yeah. And you look 10 years older and you're 10 years younger.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But you're sat here beaming and it looks like everything's been an easy ride. I know it's not.
Yeah.
But you're the examples. You're the reason why we do what we do. And that's very inspirational. So,
thank you.
Yes. So if you don't mind, Becky, we'll talk a little bit about your journey.
Yeah.
You've both been on the radio. Mandy, you're practically a co-host, aren't you? You've done three shows now.
Yeah, it's just amazing to have that opportunity. Thank you.
Well, love having you on. And it's easy because I can have a brew and sit back and just let you talk, can't I? Yeah. And Becky, you've done a show as well. You've been on the show. And so we talk a bit on this show about what we've talked about on the radio show, but I'm trying not to go over everything again, because some of the viewers, not listeners, it's viewers now, some of the viewers maybe haven't heard the radio shows.
Yeah.
But Becky, with yourself, you've had a rough ride, you had depression, and you were generally pursuing money, I think, at the beginning in your life. And I love this, you were a molecular biologist, am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
So that was all the hard work.
That's like
and
a baddie in a Bond
science.
film, isn't it? A molecular scientist. Yeah, brilliant.
There wasn't a great deal of money associated with that, I have to say. But it wasn't until I went into scientific sales.
Yeah, that was your path. That was your doorway into the sales.
Yeah.
And then through that, you pursuing money, but that made you ill, basically. Which
Of course
is
it did.
what happened to me. Exactly the same. I became ill because I pursued the money.
Yeah.
And Mandy, in a similar vein, you were a very senior nurse. Is that?
Yeah.
Can I say that? Is that the right?
Definitely, yeah.
And that job, though, was highly stressful.
Yeah.
And taking up a lot of your time. And because of that, you weren't eating a healthy diet, and consequently, you were very unhealthy and ill as well.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, 7 stone heavier. And my emotional health, I would have said...
That's like having Willow on your shoulders.
Oh, gosh, exactly. I would have said I was looking back, probably on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
But having my family at that time was the thing that was keeping me going. But it's only when you come out of any situation or stressful situation in your life that you realise how low you've got emotionally, mentally and physically. But for me, what I've learned in the last 3 years is that the emotional health massively impacts on the physical health, and that's what I've really worked on.
Yeah.
And then the physical health has changed, and I've had a massive weight loss, which is amazing, and that's helped me in a lot of ways. But it's my mindset that I've really worked on, and that's what's made the difference. And I do feel happy, relaxed, and like you say, it's sharing that and supporting other people with that.
I think you find that when you're on this conveyor belt, and it literally is a conveyor belt. I say if you drive through the town centre in Manchester on a weeknight when you finish work, and as you're leaving, you can see everybody like mice on a wheel, just running in the gyms, in the windows, and I'm thinking, why are you inside? Why are you not outside? I mean, it's probably warmer, but you get on this treadmill, and only when you get thrown off it, like I did, do you know you're on it. I didn't even, I just couldn't see. I had no perspective, clarity. I was just firefighting all the time. And then eventually, when I became ill, I looked back and I thought, what have I been doing all my life? And you gain perspective and clarity, and then you do not want to get back on that treadmill.
No, not at all.
Because the pace of your life slows down, and you start to appreciate everything then, don't you? You're in the moment, and you start to appreciate the people around you and the good things, because there's usually a lot of good things, but you maybe can't see them at the time.
Yeah. You're not able to enjoy them because, as you say, work usually is taken over for financial reasons. And as you say, you're working so much and you're in such a cycle that the enjoyable parts of your life, whether that be your friends or your family, are suffering because you're not, even when you're present, like you say, you're not present.
No, I just spent my whole time. I spent 10 years off my head, so well, it's longer. It's longer.
Yeah.
A large part of my adult life, anyway. And I was never there. I was always somewhere else in my mind, But Becky, I'm glad to see that you brought some more freebies with you today.
Yay!
Yes, because you gave me some before my last ultramarathon, and tell us about those, because you've just had one, haven't you, Mandy?
One, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So you gave me some excellent feedback on that. Always much appreciated to hear that people enjoy the little goodies that I do. So I represent Arbonne as part of my business, and they do a range of sports drinks, and they have general everyday energy drinks, but without any of the added nasties. So they don't have any artificial anything. So I am really pleased to be working with them to support my clients and customers get healthy but feel energized whilst they're on their road to better health. So it's a really good crutch for keeping us going in terms of mental and physical energy whilst we are working on the underlying causes of low energy.
So for example, in those, there's caffeine's allowed.
Natural caffeine from green tea, yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I didn't have caffeine for a long time. For years, I didn't have caffeine. And then I now have caffeine again. I'm able to. I think my mind was so busy that when I had a caffeine, it just sent me off the rails all the time. I mean, literally, my day would be over, you know. Now I can have caffeine and enjoy it. I still try and keep a little bit of a lid on it, but I do enjoy a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Everything in moderation.
Exactly. So maybe tell us about your venture, because this show's called Healthier Together.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
As I say, Becky and I have met through various kind of different projects, haven't we? But I was asked by a lady locally if we wanted to form a partnership, a community interest company, looking to support couples who are struggling on their journey to parenthood, so infertility. So we decided that we would set up this CIC, and then the lady suggested that Becky come along, and I was like, I know Becky already, that's amazing, that would be a perfect fit for us, because nutrition and health is really, really important for couples who are trying to conceive.
So the CIC Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to be calling it First Steps to Wellbeing, and there's 5 of us therapists who've all got really different backgrounds, but we're all looking to support couples with their fertility journey. I myself have trained in a program called the Freedom Fertility Formula, which is all about their emotional health.
We talked a lot about that on the radio
yeah,
as well.
We did, because I think
amazing.
People go down, they do know about nutrition, maybe not as much as they should. They do know about certain, obviously there is the medical treatments, and they go through a battery of kind of tests, and those themselves can be very, very stressful and emotional. They then may have to pursue a medical route such as IVF or some kind of infertility treatment. But nobody has ever really realised or put in that emotional health support. I myself went through my own journey, as you know, 6 rounds of IVF, quite grueling, and again, probably part of my journey 15 years ago to that kind of emotional stress and the burnout that I ended up with. So I'm really passionate to support couples with that. But within the CIC, we've got reflexologists, we've got other therapists that specialise in massage. As I say, Becky's going to be our nutrition specialist, which is amazing. Yeah. And the idea is that we're going to have some launch events coming up in the next few months. We've actually got £1,000 lottery funding.
Awesome.
Which is amazing.
I was going to ask you about funding and how that works.
One of the other ladies just happened to say when I very first met her that this year, because it's 25 years of the lottery, they're giving out £1,000 grants to people that can bring people together. But she said, you've got to apply by tomorrow. Yeah. So I literally went home that night. I've never applied for a grant in my life before, and I just kind of threw in this very quick application, but hopefully something resonated with them, and we got this little card with £1,000 on it.
I wonder if they do £1,000 holiday grants.
I know.
One of those.
So we're going to use that money to basically promote the CIC and the ongoing work that we then want to offer on an ongoing basis as therapists, which is going to be this support group. But we're going to launch it with some really amazing events. So we've got our first event on the 2nd of March. Yeah. It's going to hopefully be at the Fusilier Museum in Bury.
Is it the 2nd of March or 2nd of May?
Oh, the 2nd of May, that's right. Yes.
I'm so excited. Panic then.
I'm so excited. I want it to be sooner. No. So the 2nd of May.
We all just nearly stopped the show and ran home.
My heart stopped. We need to get there quickly. So that the idea is that couples on any stage of the journey can just come along, and we're going to be offering them a lovely afternoon to meet all of us, maybe get some advice, get some taster treatments around the reflexology and things like that, the emotional health, have an afternoon tea. So it's going to be a really relaxing afternoon just to join with other people in the same position as them, but to find out what we're offering really. So we're going to run 2 or 3 launch events, but then the idea is the ongoing work is going to be a support group on a regular basis.
And so you bring to the table with this, Becky, your expertise in nutrition, because it's not just your passion, it's your job full time as well, isn't it? You know, so you
and a way of life.
Yeah. Because I can say kind of that you're a manager at Holland and Barrett, or a
supervisor at Holland and Barrett.
Supervisor at Holland and Barrett.
Yes, I've been doing that for 11 years, and every time I get asked to become a manager, and I just say, thank you very much. It's back on that rat race again. It's back on that treadmill of life, and I'm afraid I respect myself too much to go down that route. I like to do lots of different things where I can help.
I did in construction, I went up to a very high level. And then, although I still do high-end jobs, and the role that I fulfill can be as high as that role can be, but I don't take the project management positions anymore because it's just not worth it. You know, the stress levels are ridiculous and I don't cope very well, you know. So I'm quite happy. If I'm in construction, I'll be engineer, senior engineer, section A engineer, but I've no interest in managing the whole project anymore. Exactly. You know, because at the beginning of this year, as you sort of know, and I have a good idea, Mandy, but at the beginning of last year, that I had sort of another nervous breakdown and couldn't function very well. And what I've been doing, I'd been working on site, working 12, 14-hour days through the week. And then I've been teaching and doing other things in the evening. I've been trying to write books at the same time from 2 a.m. till 4 or 5 a.m, then going to work at 7 a.m, coming back doing stuff at night, weekends. And after about 3 months of that, I just keeled over. And I actually just sat in my car in tears. I just couldn't function. And so I knew I had to step back from everything for a while, you know, and have a break. And running was a big part of it for me. That helped me a lot. Yeah. And I still kept the radio up. For some reason, I was okay with that. I didn't want to go outside, but that environment and engaging with people, and that sort of kept me going as well.
Therapeutic as well, isn't it? You know?
So the radio for me was a really big part of my recovery, you know. But yeah, and it took me about 6 months, and I thought, how have I got myself in this way again? But I was so passionate about what I'm doing. Well, to finance some passion, what I'm passionate about, I had to maintain, you know, the other life, the other job I was doing, and it sent me under. So hopefully I've learnt this time, and I'm going to try and find a balance.
We'll be keeping tabs on
it.
We will,
yes.
Yeah. So all about balance.
I want weekly feedback about your diary.
If I'm just doing this, I can do this every waking hour, and I just love it, you know, so there's no stress. And if I'm just doing construction, I hate it and I'm miserable, but I can do that. But when I'm doing both, so the way I'm going to move forward is, instead of trying to do both at the same time, certainly in the week anyway, is construction if I have to during the week, and then if I have to do that, just the weekends when I do my recording and things like that, you know, and try and find a sustainable rhythm.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that's the same for all of us, isn't it? I think a lot of the ladies and couples and people that we meet, it's about trying to get balance back in their life, isn't it, really? Yeah.
Some people go to work, and then outside work, it's drink, socialise, cigarettes and TV. I don't do any of those things. And we all have something in common. We all have a passion.
Yeah.
You're very fortunate, Mandy, as in that you've actually made that your core central business now.
I'm living my life, but it is my work as well. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes people are like,
put that together.
Yeah, people are like, oh, how do you do it? And you're always busy and you're doing this and you're doing that. And people see me as extremely busy and doing a million things. But I don't know where I said it the other day, but what I said was, I'm just living my life. I don't see it as work. It isn't work. You know, I am out there hopefully helping and supporting people.
If you listen to Monday Coming, which might be Monday just gone when this goes out, but if you listen to the radio show that I've just done with Christy, who was just on episode 2 on this video podcast, she and I were talking about you. We were saying, how do you do it? You make everything look effortless. You're like, yeah, it's no problem. I'm just riding a book and fostering a child and doing the fertility and learning how to meditate and run the retreat and calm on the farm. And we just said, how does she do it? You know.
But I think, like you say, when you find something, you're just living your life, and that then becomes, my life is helping people, and that's what I'd love to do. And I think going back to, my job for 26 years was as a children's nurse. So although it became stressful and working in the NHS became a chore and an issue, because I wasn't actually I wasn't actually seeing children. Like you were saying, I was higher and higher and higher. So they wanted me to manage people. They wanted me to manage budgets. So I wasn't, exactly, my passion to help people and look after children wasn't coming to fruition.
Once you come out of interacting with people and helping them, and then you're into managing with people, it's even though it may be within the same industry, it's a completely different role, and you don't have that contact, and maybe don't feel like that you get the same sense that you're helping people.
Definitely.
Then,
and some people, again, love that. That's their forte, isn't it? We're all different. Our skills are different. My skills, hopefully, are face-to-face support for people, being kind and being helpful and being understanding, which has become a job for me now. But I don't see it as a job. So when people do say to me, you're always so busy and you're doing X, Y, and Z, I'm just living my life, really.
Yeah. Becky, you also have managed to take your passion, it's become your career now, but also it's your passion in your business outside work as well. So you've managed to do that, and everything you do is about nutrition.
Near enough, yeah. So the Diabetes UK support group,
yes.
Obviously I support people with getting a bit more knowledge on the nutrition front so that they can control their condition a bit better. Obviously, the Holland and Barrett thing we've mentioned. I do talks as well, all over the place.
You recently did a talk with Sam from Sam's Warriors, didn't you?
I certainly did, yeah. I love that.
Sam's done a radio show with me, and he was nurturing some people to do the first Couch to 5K and asked me would I go along. So I went running with them and become quite friendly with Sam.
Brill.
And
He's
the
lovely.
winner of the last Bolton Marathon turned up to support them. And I loved it. It was great because there's a couple at the back that were, struggling a little bit. And, well, if there's one thing I can do, I think I can motivate people. And I give them what for. I said, come on, you're nearly there and all that. And at the end, a big hug. And it was lovely. I really enjoyed it, But yeah, you spoke at Sam's.
Yeah, so I was there to speak about the gut-brain connection. So how what we put into our bodies to nourish our gut has an impact on our mental well-being, depression, anxiety, and explaining about kombucha and how that impacts the microbiome and how we can just feed our lovely bugs in our system and revolutionize how we are feeling because of the chemistry that goes on in our bodies as a result.
I'm still staggered by the synchronicity of putting you two together to do the show, and then you've both just been talking. I've had that with every episode so far. There's a lady called Catherine Beaumont who does Meditate with Horses. She's been on the radio. I've not seen her for 18 months, nearly 2 years maybe, since she did the show. And we went to Manjusri at the weekend, Via Matthias. I was with Willow. And we bumped into Catherine there, and I just contacted her 2 days before, said, you fancy coming on the show? She'd never been to Manjusri before. We shouldn't have been where we were when we were. We should have been in the temple, and we missed the session. And the alignment was incredible. And the same with both of you, talking to you both. And then you go, well, actually, we're just doing something, so it'd be good to do the show.
And it's coincided with a new talk that I'm going to be doing on endometriosis next month.
Oh yeah, endometriosis. Yeah. I'm laughing because what's spell it.
So what we're all about is helping couples with fertility, and endometriosis is one of those problems with female health that causes infertility in a vast number of women in the UK. And so it is a major contributor to fertility issues with couples. And I've been asked to speak at Endometriosis UK. So it's all just, again, a universe shift. Everything's kind of just
the
all
universe
coming
corresponds
together.
to the nature of your song, Dr. Michael Beckwith. When you're fully present and in alignment and following your bliss, the universe, all the cogs of the universe start moving in your favour, don't
It's
they?
amazing. It's amazing to watch and see. And like you say, it's still a roller coaster. I had a right week last week, like you say, where I went for an interview for another role on Monday. Then I got told on Wednesday about some work I've been loving doing for 18 months that was coming to an end. But then the work that I went for on Monday, I was told on Friday, you've got that role. And it was as if the space had been made for that to come in. Do you know what I mean? And
You're like somebody maybe who collects stamps. You collect qualifications because it's goddamn ridiculous the amount of qualifications you've got. I think you couldn't, if you put the letters after your name.
Yes, it might not fit on one line.
It might not fit on a page, but you're recently now a qualified meditation instructor.
Yeah, I wanted to do that because although I do meditation within my qualification as a relaxed kids coach, which is what I took up 3 years ago when I left the NHS to start helping and supporting children within schools or privately within families, and obviously specifically with adopted and fostered families. Part of that there's a 7-step kind of process that you work through within a relaxed kids session, and at the end it's meditation. So I am qualified to do that, but I've learned so much. I hadn't meditated before. Didn't know yourself or anybody really in that field. That was completely new to me 3 years ago. So I've been on that journey and started my own meditation journey, and I just felt it was something that I wanted to do a little bit deeper. So although I do it as a very short kind of ending to a children's session, I've realised the power of it. And I feel that alone, working with children, again, is my passion, to work with families with that. So I think for my own, I think I'm used to having, as a nurse, you need to have qualifications and registrations and feel that you are. I want to come across as being, showing that I can do what I'm saying that I can do. And because unfortunately, again, in our world, lots of people can be coaches. Lots of people can say that they're doing X, Y, and Z for money.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be authentic and genuine and say, I have now enhanced my skills so that I can hold a pure meditation class for families, because I've made sure that I am doing it correctly and that I have got the right knowledge behind me, really. So that was this week's latest.
I saw the certificate on maybe Facebook, something like that, posted. And Anne-Marie Mulford.
Yes, because again, she's the lady who...
Anne-Marie, I'm a big fan of Anne-Marie,
We met again about 2 or 3 years ago, and so any of my holistic...
I feel like I could put Anne-Marie in my pocket. She's tiny.
She's gorgeous. But she's been a therapist for nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
But she, again, set up her own teaching school. And so any of my holistic treatments, I've been taught by her.
So I'm very sorry to interrupt you, Mandy, but we've just come to the middle of the show. So we're going to have a short break now, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. This is the second part of episode 3 of the Midnight McBride show with me, Midnight McBride, your host, and I'm joined by Mandy Worsley.
Hi there.
And Becky Jones.
Hello again.
Hi. So, I don't know where to pick up from really. Possibly, Mandy, we'll talk about, there's a book you're involved in, and I know that Stina is put the book together, is that right?
She has,
She's been on the show, she recently had a baby.
I know.
She's coming on this show as well.
Brilliant. She's an amazing, inspirational.
Paired her up with somebody. She's coming on Saturday, actually. Saturday.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, but Stina's awesome.
Absolutely
awesome.
awesome.
She says, okay, dude, all right, man. And she's really funny. But, so you're involved in this project with Stina, the book.
Yeah. So I met her through a networking group called Mums in Business. And she has, like you say, an online support group called Just a Mum, which I joined. And it's, again, an amazing community of she's got over 2,000 women from all over the world in that community now. And part of what she's done, she wrote a book herself initially.
The first one.
About kind of not losing your shiz as a mum, just being a mum, and just that reality of, like, again, because with social media, and again, we all want to put out that good image that we're doing really well, but the reality is, there are hard days and difficult days, especially as a parent. So she wrote that initial book. Then she did a second book around pregnancy. And I just kind of joined the group at the time. And as you know, I've had my fertility journey and I am a parent through adoption. But she contacted me and asked me, would I like to share my story in that book? And I was really taken aback, really. And I thought it was lovely to do that because I was thinking it was about pregnancy. But she was like, no, it's about how everybody becomes parents. Yeah. So I did that initial book. So it's a chapter in that book. But then she has done a third book. So within a year, she's kind of written three books, which is just amazing. But again, to give us, I would never, ever have wrote a book or been part of a book, really, although it's probably people again say to me you should write a book about your life, but it's given me something that I've never done before, and literally, so it was a chapter in her third book which was called A Christmas Wish. That's it, yes. And it was about,
Stina told me about her story, and it nearly brought me to tears. She's been homeless.
Oh my gosh! Well, I listened to her.
Have you met Stina, Becky?
Yeah, I know her as well. Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, because your show's on 11 till midnight, your actual
midnight
radio.
Till midnight.
I stayed up to listen to that show.
That is the first show that I've actually listened to at the time that it was aired.
Oh, live?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I wanted to hear her, because I knew her, but I didn't know her full story myself. So that was a fascinating
She's
listen.
like you. When we did the show, we struggled to fit it in a show. She had so much. I mean, we could have easily done another show right there and then, 2 back to back, but I didn't. A lot of the people that come on the show, I'm interested before we have the pre-show chat, so I'm already interested in what they're doing. Then I find out the night before we have a chat about, the life, and I find out so much more, and I'm thinking, my God, she's an incredible woman,
Yeah.
Really is.
So my kind of story chapter within that book was, like you say, more touching on my emotional health. So my journey from really having a nervous breakdown, having worked a career for 26 years, to making that
Did
choice.
Did you have a nervous breakdown, Mandy?
I don't know. I've never been diagnosed as having it. I would
it's not
look
a medical
at
term, is it?
I would
So
look back and say, yes, I was certainly on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I think the only thing that kept me going, kept me getting out of bed, I suppose, every day was my children, my adopted children, and to be their mum kept me from, I think if I didn't have children, I probably would have just been, that was it. I wouldn't have had anything to get up for or even live for, in all honesty, and those thoughts did cross my mind. Honestly, they did, yeah.
Well, I know that feeling, I didn't eat. I wouldn't open the door. I wouldn't answer the phone. And the only person I saw through that period was Willow.
Yeah.
I couldn't go outside. I couldn't go food shopping. I think I lost 4 stone, 4.5 stone, because I just stopped eating.
And for me, it was the other way, and I ballooned. I weighed 7 stone heavier than I do now. And again, what was really interesting with what you're saying, Becky, is although I did eat, obviously I comfort ate and I drank alcohol, all of those kind of things. Chocolate and alcohol was my kind of
like
crutch.
a glass of wine, don't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But my body changed. So although I wouldn't have said I was eating massive amounts of food, like sat there eating 10 chocolate bars or 3 bottles of wine a night, but my body, because I was so stressed, thought I was in danger. Flight, fright or freeze. Yeah. So therefore, every small morsel that I ate, every bit of wine that I drank was stored in my body because it thought I was going to be in danger and I needed to store that fuel to fight off the danger. So I just ballooned.
It's funny how it affects people.
Your insulin
completely,
response, the way your hormones work.
So I was in basically an adrenal failure, as you say. So my whole body had shut down. And so I think, like you say, when I'm saying I was on the verge of collapse, it was kind of a physical collapse, although I was mentally unwell. I think I was okay mentally because I had my family and things like that to keep me going, but physically I was very unwell. And what the turning point for me was, I'd took redundancy from work, and my husband said to me, you are not breathing when you are sleeping. You're literally not breathing, and I'm frightened for you. Went to the doctors, went and was sent to a sleep clinic and was diagnosed with very severe sleep apnea. Very severe, to the point that it was tested at 97 times an hour, which is more than every minute. I literally wasn't breathing. So to stop me from dying, my body was releasing cortisone to make me breathe.
I went the other way, and when I'm highly stressed, I physically can't eat.
Yeah.
I can't eat. I can't put food inside me. I just can't swallow it. I can't eat. Now, Becky, we talked about it on the show previously, where you were depressed and you had, again, if you call it, it's funny this, because a nervous breakdown, nobody really knows what it is exactly, because it's not a medical term, and how do you define it and stuff. But basically you get to a point where either your mind or your body says, I can't do this anymore, and you just shut down. Everything shuts down.
It is your rock bottom. It is your body's way of saying
had that as well then, haven't you?
Yeah.
When you were doing your sales job.
Yeah.
And then you got to a point where you said, you became depressed, you didn't want to go outside, you weren't engaging people. So you've been there as well.
It was just a culmination of a whole series of different poor choices in life that ended up with my body sending me, I don't know, I dread to think how many little bits of information it was trying to get me to listen to. So I went into the doctors with 2 sides of A4 of every little thing that was wrong with me. And I just couldn't piece it together what exactly was going on. But yeah, it was just a failure of every aspect of my body's...
The system shuts down, doesn't it? It's a great way of expressing it, actually, that system failure.
Yeah.
Everything just stops working. You know, your ability to think clearly, communicate, look after yourself, think clearly, make good decisions, engage socially, everything just stops, you know, and it's a lot of people maybe have experienced something similar but wouldn't say. And it took me a year before I really wanted to say the word nervous breakdown. I just kept saying I had a bit of a wobble, you know, and I think a lot of people have a bit of a wobble, don't they? You know?
So many just push on through, though. They don't listen to what the body's trying to tell them and carry on going.
I've got to be honest, I did exactly that. It was only when I had complete shutdown where I literally couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't stand up. I just couldn't function at all. So obviously I'd had warning signs way before that and I didn't listen. Yeah. So now I recognise the signs, but even this last time I didn't listen. You know, it was a slightly different set of circumstances, but I still ended up in the same, I'm going to swear, the same bloody mess, you know, so I need to
as human beings, we have patterns, don't we? And those patterns and habits are very hard to break. And we will still fall back. It is our natural state to fall back into those patterns. But again, that's why with all the work that we're doing, it's about, you can make changes in your life. Or you can, like you say, go to a doctor and you can get pills, potions, lotions, all of those kind of things. But lots of things, or you can go on a diet, or you can try this thing or that thing. But a lot of them are unsustainable because it's actually about changing those mental patterns. And as you say, they may go back to stem from your childhood, from the way that you were treated and all of those kind of things. And that's what fascinates me. And that the work I do now is all about the mind. But it actually affects the physical body. Like you say, with the fertility work, it's about, I work on their mind, but then they become pregnant, which is, it's amazing.
Our subconscious holds us back from so many things.
If you get this right, the rest follows suit, doesn't it? If you get the operating system working correctly, then the body does as it's told, and it's, you know,
well,
it
as you say,
properly.
my body has physically changed by 7 stone. But like you say, I still like a glass of wine. I'm not on a diet. Yes, obviously, I am aware of what I eat. I do eat a lot less than I used to. I don't use food and wine as a crutch.
Healthy mind,
healthy
body.
My mental, I'm a completely different person, as you say. I'm happy, I'm at peace, I'm in my bliss, if that's what you like to say. So my body now reflects that.
There's a beautiful quote, and it's in my book, and I didn't write this quote. There's not many, but there's a few quotes in the first book, From Pills to Peace, where they're from other people. And I can't remember the full name, but the guy's called Kufenberg, I think he's called. It's very hard to pronounce. And he says, when old patterns are broken, new worlds emerge. Yeah, definitely. Beautiful quote, that. Yeah. You know, if you can change this repetitive programming that you've been given, and, you know, this is our job at the end of the day. Our parents program us. Yes. And it's taking the good stuff, not the bad stuff, removing that, and each generation trying to improve slightly. And it's undoing some of the programming, because it's not all good, unfortunately. No. It's all done with the right intention, usually. Yes. But it's not all good. And we've got to be able to, if you can't change those and all you do is repeat the patterns of the programming, nothing will ever change. No. You know, somebody in the supermarket said to me, there's an expression, they said, oh, we've always done it that way. Yeah. And that expression, I'm generally fairly placid and calm. And I blurted out, and I write about it in the book, with that kind of mentality, we would still be burning witches, we'd still have apartheid, and we'd still have sexism and all of these things, you know. We wouldn't have equal rights for men and women, we'd persecute gays, all of these things. What we do is we evolve as a species, and that involves breaking patterns and making better decisions and choices. So to say we've always done it that way, well, think of some of the things we've done in the past as a species.
Exactly. But as you say, it's not easy to change. And our body and our mind likes to revert back to especially something that's familiar.
It's comfortable, isn't it?
But again, for us, within the work I do with the Freedom Fertility Formula, one of the sessions is called reprogramming, because that's exactly what we do. We look, because again, lots of people believe they will have a family history of it's difficult for us to get pregnant. Everyone in my family struggled to get pregnant. Or there'll be things that we believe or that we've been told. And then, as you say, it does go back to, you know, again, maybe things within their past, within their childhood and all of those kind of things. And if we can reprogram some of those thought patterns, then their body will physically change. The second you buy into
that programming, it becomes real.
Yes.
If you believe something, it becomes your reality. Your mind creates your world. Your
cells, every cell in your body is listening to this message that you're repeating over and over again.
The whole book, which is out very soon, in hopefully about 8 weeks, the second book, which is Moving Forward, Learning How to Glide, elevating yourself and propelling yourself forward using surrounding energies with zero resistance, with zero effort, in harmony with natural law. That book, the whole book is about reprogramming. Changing the way you think and giving you examples and ways of doing that. You know, we're all capable of doing it. It's very difficult because when you go against your programming, it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. And that's why you need support. And that's why people, you know, hopefully come to us now for that kind of support. Because as you say, within your fertility journey as well, not even the old reprogramming, we go around putting this brave face on. And if someone says to us, why haven't you had a baby yet? You've got married. Oh, you're having a baby. We say, oh, I'm not ready. It's not the right time. I'm working on my career. That's not true. That might not be true, but we put on, but we're telling ourselves that. So therefore our body also believes that.
Yeah.
So because we can't feel open to maybe to our work colleagues, to our family and our friends. So again, we're trying to foster this open culture where people can talk about it and say, yes, I do want a baby, but I'm struggling.
Well, I'm hoping in a similar vein, this is what this show is. It's a platform for people to talk about everything. Because in the first 2 shows, we've been pretty open. I've talked about a lot of things, you know, that I'm a little bit careful on the radio. Obviously, it's quite an open show, but still there are some limitations possibly. And I love it when we go off script because the notes that we had for this show, we've not been we're nowhere near them. We've just been chatting away, and that's the best way. So, Mandy, can I ask you a little bit about Calm on the Farm?
Yes.
Now, it's not the Chettam Farm Retreat. It's the Chettam Farm Retreat is the website and the page. So what's Calm on the Farm?
Again, I think that's my kind of ethos. I think that's what I want people to, whatever they come for, because like you say, there's lots of things now that people can come to Chettam Farm Retreat for.
Gong bath.
Yeah. So like you say, we have gong baths, we have meditation classes, we have yoga classes, we have people hiring the venue for retreats. People can come and have holistic treatments. People can come and see me for one-to-one therapy.
So it's like your mission statement almost.
It is, my strap, like that's kind of my umbrella, Calm on the Farm. So again, we're looking at doing some corporate events. We'd love people, small businesses to come along and bring their staff for an away day to look at their emotional health and well-being. So that could be seen as a corporate thing, but actually it's about bringing staff out of their work environment, allowing them to talk, allowing them to relax, allowing them to connect on a different level. But that then, as we know, will enhance their working life, their productivity, all of the things that businesses care about. So there's so many things that can happen. The retreat, again, is a hub, really. It's a venue, and we just want to attract... People keep coming to me asking, can we do this here? Can we do that there? And if it fits with that ethos, then we can do anything. We've got a lady coming in a few weeks who would like to hold her daughter's bar mitzvah.
Well,
yes.
There you go.
Next summer, so we're looking at 2021. So she wants to hold a beautiful family party, really. And she wanted a venue that fitted, again, with their ethos, really. Because no alcohol and just those kind of things. And a beautiful setting where she can invite family. They wanted a decent sized space. So she's coming to visit.
I think I am the first person ever to survive 2 gong baths back to back.
Yes.
At the Chettam Farm Retreat with Liz Whistle. I got up and I felt like I was in outer space.
Well, she's just collaborating now. So this is in March. On the 8th of March, my yoga teacher and Liz are running a joint session, a yoga nidra, followed by a gong bath.
Who's your yoga teacher?
She's called Caroline Obank, Yoga Co. Kaz, I call her, lovely lady local to me who runs, as I say, 5 sessions a week. But we literally put it out 2 days ago and it's sold. The 10 spaces have gone. So we're looking at putting on a second session. And again, I think that would be really powerful for people to attend.
Becky, have you done I know you've done some meditation, but have you been to a gong bath? Have you?
I have. I had my first ever gong bath at the retreat.
Right.
Yeah,
was it Liz Whittle who did it?
Amazing, it was Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using the moon, the sun, Jupiter, Mars,
They're amazing.
Saturn,
Oh,
Really powerful.
Yeah.
Uranus.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a Uranus.
No, I don't.
But all the gongs are named after the planets and such, yeah. I did the first one. The first gong bath here they did was up at the... Help me? The Harmony Hub?
Oh, yes. Liz's place, the Harmony Hub.
In Chorley. Yes. And there was only, I don't know, maybe 8 people in the room. Very small room, because it was such a small room when she hit the gong.
Yeah,
boom,
gosh, the
you knew about it.
vibrations.
Yeah. It's like the old, the old Tarzan films. At the beginning of the film, so a lot of the kids won't know this, but there's a guy at the beginning and he has like trunks on.
Yeah.
And he hits this gong with a stick. Well, it was like that, you can really feel it. And then I've been to a few different ones. I've been on a retreat in the lakes where somebody did a gong bath. I went to Catherine Beaumont's place and taught meditation and did a gong bath there, which was Andre, I think. But then I've recently done, I think, 3 or possibly 4 gong baths at the Chettam Farm retreat. And as yet, I think that venue is perfect for it. Because
yes, I think that's
the room
part
size,
of it.
a little bit of space, you can all lie down. And I like to lie down.
Yeah.
Why would you want to sit up when you
I
can lie
know,
down,
yeah.
Something to do with it being downstairs as well.
Yeah.
I think the audio side of things just really lent itself.
Yeah.
People say they get a good energy from just coming, like you say, to the venue itself, and like all of those, that going back to what you asked me originally, that calm on the farm, people seem to feel it when they come in. So that is amazing. And then people want to do different things from there. So that's kind of our umbrella term for anybody coming to. Hopefully they will leave a lot calmer than they arrived.
So Becky, tell us about Elements of Nutrition. Now you've told us what it is and what you do, but say for example me, because I think the misconception might be, or assumption, is that it's predominantly for women. That's what I thought initially, and it was an incorrect assumption. So if I came to you, how would you help me, a man? So I'm a 40-year-old man. I come to you. My diet's okay, not brilliant. During the week I eat fish and salad and vegetables, and at the weekend quite frequently it goes completely off. That's
You're not the only one.
And as you know, I do a lot of exercise as well.
Yeah.
But so if a man approaches you and they contact Elements of Nutrition, what do you have to offer from a male perspective? Because I'm interested. If there's a man watching this now, he'll probably think, well, how do I fit into this?
Well, funnily enough, I have a gentleman that I'm seeing on Friday of this week. I have explained to him my focus is to help women, because I'm a woman. I understand women. But physiologically, there's a whole heck of a lot of overlap there. So in terms of nutrition, I am able to help men as well. So what would I do to help you? Well, we would have a one-to-one consultation, and you get to hear about my views on things, and I get to speak to you about what exactly is going on in terms of holistically in your body, so everything that is going on for you. And we'd just have a discussion to see whether we were a good fit. So typically I help women who are stressed and low energy and have got various symptoms that may be just leading up to something more major in the future, and they want to nip that in the bud, or they are already having quite dramatic health consequences and they want to return back to health. With men, I tend to offer single hour-long consultations, and they'll come to me with specific queries. So in this instance, it will be about training for it's going to be running in this instance, and following a diet that also suits somebody with gallbladder problems. So there are kind of 3 different things rolled in together. So it's not something on your own without a little bit of knowledge you can tackle yourself.
I didn't realise it'd be that specific. I mean, you can go and say, right, well, I've got a dodgy knee, I go running, I'm busy at the weekends doing X, Y, Z, and I like, this is my favourite food kind of thing, and come to you, and you can take all of that in and then give advice.
Yeah, so it's about matching to that person's tastes and nutritional requirements and other obstacles like having no gallbladder, for example, and figuring out what the diet is likely to be for them based on that information that we've gleaned. So it means a lot of form filling. It means a lot of investigative work. Typically when I work with 12-week clients, we're able to get to the real nitty-gritty and the root causes of what's gone on for them.
Do you actually do tests as well? So, for example, would you do the bloods and things like this of clients?
So I
work stool sample?
I work in partnership with others. So what people do is they obtain results from their doctors. So I'll explain to them, we need this blood test, we need that blood test. They'll go ahead and get that done, if possible, through their doctors. If not, we send away to reputable places to get those tests done. And I analyse the results based on what comes back to us. But I don't personally do that testing. So I'm a big believer in elimination diets. So there's a heck of a lot that can be done with a free elimination diet and that you won't get the answers to in terms of allergies, intolerances, things like that.
Yeah. Right, I need to come and see you then. Yes.
Happy to help.
So, Mandy, I'd like you to tell us, because it's a really nice story, and I know you've said it on the radio, but the very first couple you did your infertility. Is it infertility?
Fertility, infertility.
The very first couple you did your fertility sessions with.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So part of your training is to advertise for a case study. So I did that, and a lovely local couple came forward who, from a background, they were police officers, so stressful jobs, stressful lives. They'd come together as a couple. He was a little bit older, so had a previous family, so he already had older children. And so obviously they got together, they were happy, and they were looking to start a family of their own. Yeah. And 3 years down the line, they hadn't achieved that. So they'd gone down the usual routes of obviously going to their GP, having various tests and things like that, and were looking to head down the road of IVF treatment. Yeah. She saw my advert and came forward to say, and my advert was about supporting people. The Freedom Fertility Formula, we can't promise to get them pregnant. What we're looking at is getting their emotional health back on track so they can live their life during their fertility journey. Yeah. But what is happening, because I'm one of 50 coaches that's been trained within the UK and worldwide.
And that's been to Madrid.
Yes.
With a paid trip.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the pregnancies are happening.
Yeah.
So although we would never promise somebody a baby, and that isn't necessarily our initial end goal, obviously that is, what we're looking to help them with. But with this couple, so they came to myself, and as I say, it's emotional health and wellbeing support. So the initial session, we call it story, and it's really me listening to that story, as you say, where they've been, what journey they've been on, what's happened in their life. But for me, it's about what they're putting off. So they were putting off getting married. So after the first session, they actually went out and booked their wedding. So I thought, well, I've changed their life already. They've had 2 hours with me. I've changed this couple's life because they've thought, why are we putting that off? And it was a block for them because you think, well, we'll not do it this year because we're going to be pregnant, or I'm going to X, Y, and Z. And that can be from anything as small as I'm not going to buy that dress. Yeah. I'm not going to go to. But then bigger things, other family members who are getting pregnant and baby showers, and with the social media, it can be in your face. These gender reveal things are everywhere now, aren't they? So their life can become they can become isolated, and their whole focus is on the fertility, but they're not living their life. So the Freedom Fertility Formula is about getting them back on track, and we work through about 7 sessions. One, as I've mentioned before, is reprogramming. So we're working on different parts of their emotional health, their emotions, their reprogramming of old ideas. And they went along, they worked with me for about 3 months. But then obviously their step was to continue. They'd got an appointment at the IVF clinic. So I said to them, I'd still like to carry on working with you through your IVF treatment because, again, I can help you to stay calm, stay relaxed. Again, hypnotherapy, which is part of the work that we do, has been shown to double the success rate of IVF treatment. There is research-based evidence on that.
That's a massive statistic, isn't it?
Yes. So roughly, I think it's about maybe 27 to 37% of IVF treatments work, which isn't a massive amount as it is. It's still a science and there's still a lot. We can double that success rate with that's with hypnotherapy alone. So there is research on that. The work I do has hypnotherapy within it, but a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to carry on supporting this couple. So I hadn't seen them for a couple of months. So they came back for a visit to check in with me, and we were going to ask them where they were up to with a treatment. Walked in with a bunch of flowers and a card, and I was quite embarrassed. So I was like, oh, thanks very much. Popped them down on the side, made them a coffee, and I went to launch into my, how are you? Where are you at?
Yeah.
And the guy said, you need to open that card. So I was like, oh, okay. So
Is there money in it?
Yeah. Went and opened it, and there was a scan photograph in there, 12 weeks.
So the very first couple you worked with
Yes.
got pregnant.
They did. And they had a little girl on the 31st of October. So a little pumpkin baby, beautiful girl called Rosie. So, so actually I've got 100% success rate so far. But yeah, the idea is we want to get that message out there to couples. And going back to the men, I know you've been talking to Becky about male factor infertility is 50%. Of the cause of, lots of couples that end up having IVF treatments. And that can be due to nutrition. It can be due to stress. There's so many elements. And again, men aren't great at talking, as we know.
No, yeah.
Some of them are.
Some of them are.
Some of us are getting better.
Definitely. And again, that's what we want to break down, those taboos. The work I do, I can work with just the females, but I would love, and my first people I worked with were a couple, and he actually said he'd got so much out of it, because again, what I teach them is skills for life. It's focused on fertility whilst I'm working with them, but they can use that in any stressful situation within their life.
I would imagine that from my experience anyway, it would be the men actually that need the most help, because women are far better at expressing themselves than the men, and if the men aren't expressing themselves, then they're going to be all het up and stressed and what have you. And so, although they might be the least willing participant because they don't want to share and talk, they're actually the ones that need.
They do. And again, for me, my vision is to work with the men as much as the women. I mean, we will get single people coming forward, obviously, as well. So I'm not just saying I only want to work with couples, but I do genuinely want to work as much with men as women, because they are equal, in the partnership for, this work going forward.
Yeah. I was going to tell the viewers about Sheffield, because you were in Sheffield, and I joked quite a bit about it on the show that you worked at a nightclub. Which nightclub?
I was at Gatecrasher.
Yes, where I'd been on a number of occasions. And when we both met the first time, I had exactly the same feeling that I knew you. I couldn't figure out why. And it's such a long shot, but it could be from that. But then you also worked in Greg's.
In my old life.
Yes. Yeah, well, a long time ago, and not that long ago. I can't win. And we joked that maybe it was from there as well, because I went to Sheffield University, so it's possibly from there. But yeah, when I met you, you have that with people. Sometimes you feel like that you know them, or some people you feel like maybe you don't know them, but you feel like you always have.
Definitely.
I've met someone where I talk to them for 5 minutes. I feel like I've always known them. Yeah. And I believe that obviously we have many lives, and that some people. Megan was on the show on the episode 2, and Megan's only young, but she's a very old soul. Yeah. When you talk to her, and you just have the feeling that she's had many lives. Yeah. Because her wisdom's beyond her years. So Mandy, if somebody wants to go to the Chetton Palm retreat and they want to do yoga, or meditate, or they want to do a gong bath, or they want to go on a retreat with Lynn Meadowcroft, or any number of these things, how do they get in touch with you?
The best way now is I've got a beautiful, amazing, brand new website. Okay. So that it is www.chethamfarmretreat.com.
Okay.
So that will have everything that you need to know on there. It has a really amazing list of events. So what we're running on a monthly basis. We have blogs, we have featured guests on there. So that is my main kind of way. And obviously you've got my address, my phone number, my email, all on there.
So a one-stop shop, the
Yes.
website's the place to go.
But on a more interactive daily basis, where you will hopefully see me doing lives, doing regular posts, doing motivational speaking and that kind of thing. Obviously, I have a Facebook page, so Chetton Farm. If you basically put in Chetton Farm Retreat, I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook, I am on Twitter and all of those things. So
I know
if
you're on Facebook because there's posts, 10 posts a day, lots
Yes,
and lots of posts.
yeah.
Usually with all the things that happen in your life, there's always something.
Yeah, definitely. So again, it's about sharing what I do so that the more people know about what I do, which is one of the reasons I'm so glad that you keep asking me to share it with people, because if people don't know what I do, then I can't help people and I can't help and change people's lives. But if you know and put in Chetton Farm Retreat, you will find me, as I say, on all social media platforms. But I'm in love with my new website, which is amazing.
I don't think I've seen it, so I'll have to have a
yeah,
look.
please do. Yeah. And the lady who does that is a brilliant lady from Worsley Creative. She's not related to me, but I do like the fact that her name is, it has Worsley on all her branding, which is rather nice for me. But she's an amazing lady. So, yeah, I would recommend her highly for websites.
Wonderful. And Becky, if somebody wants to get in touch with you or find out about Elements of Nutrition, what do they do?
So I also have a website.
Okay.
It's www.elementsofnutrition.me.uk.
Yeah.
And you can contact me by email on there. So it's Becky, spelled BECCY, at elementsofnutrition.me.uk. I'm on all the same social media platforms. We speak on there all the time and support one another and, share the love and positivity, helpful tips, anything that we can add value to people's lives, basically.
Yeah.
It goes on there on a daily basis. I have on Facebook, Elements of Nutrition UK, and I've got an amazing group associated with that. So if anybody generally tends to be women on there who would love a bit of motivational support on a daily basis, come and join the group. It's the Elements of Nutrition Health Clinic. And I go live regularly on there to help with question and answers of various topics. And Twitter, what else? Instagram, YouTube. You'll find me at Elements of Nutrition UK.
As long as you're not blind and deaf,
yes,
you're going to find us.
You're going to find us. We're out there. We're out there every day promoting.
Okay, ladies, thank you very much for doing the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Episode 3 of the Midnight McBride Show with Mandy Worsley and Becky Jones.
Thank you very much.
The Chetton Farm Retreat and Elements of Nutrition. I'm going to finish the show with a quote that I like to do each week. It's from the first book, From Pills to Peace. And this week, the quote is, each time you raise yourself up, invite everybody to come and see the view. So when you learn the skills to make good decisions and improve your life and evolve and grow and shine, then show people the way, hold the hand and guide them and help them, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, you can buy the first book, From Pills to Peace, on Amazon and on about 12 other places. The audiobook, by the time this video is aired, the audiobook will be for sale on Amazon and iTunes and ACX and many other places, and that's for the first book, From Pills to Peace. The second book, Moving Forward, Learning How to Glide, and that's elevating yourself and propelling yourself forward using surrounding energies with zero resistance, with zero effort, in harmony with natural law, will be available in about 8 weeks from Amazon initially. I've also got a Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram account, a website, midnightmcbride.com. And finally, the YouTube channel that you're watching this on now, this video podcast, there's going to be at least one show a week being done. Please subscribe to it and then you'll automatically get to see the next episode. I hope you've enjoyed the show and we'll see you the same time next week. Thank you.
It is one of those synchronicity kind of things for you to bring it all together.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just so grateful to have a chance.
It's one thing to get you on the show, but to think, I'll pull them two together.
I know,
with
when
no
you
reason.
said it, and then I was like,
I wasn't even sure you knew each other at the time. I was thinking, have they met?
Yeah. But then the weird thing was, because as I say, this lady called Karen had thought about this CIC and invited Stacey, who then invited me. But I'd mentioned you, but then she was like, oh, I'm thinking of getting these 2 other ladies. And I was like, yeah, no, Becky, that was brilliant. And so then when that had literally been like a week before, and then you were like, oh, I really like this too. And I was like, oh, we're just about to do this.
Kept wanting to say when we're doing it, then I couldn't say, eat the mic, eat the mic. And you're both and then I'm trying all my hand signals and yeah.
Oh, I'm terrible talking with the hands.
Well, talking with hands is good as long as you're not
banging
it down. So that's fine. There's no problem with that kind of stuff. But we need staff. We need staff, don't we? Yeah, no, you were well behaved. Very good.
We're allowed.
I'm still recording, so eat the mic.
Yeah.
Oh,
eat the mic. Yeah. This is this is good. I always leave the cameras running for 10-15 minutes at the end and keep recording, because we get some really nice footage when everybody's off camera. They change, you see, you relax and stuff, so it's nice. Sometimes it's hysterical, other times we're just having a nice chat, but I keep the cameras rolling. I don't tell anybody. I do normally tell them. Yeah.
There's a lady, Pink Spaghetti. She
hey
is the name of her business.